Have you ever wondered what makes insects tick?
I wanted to understand what's going on in the heads of insects. And so I asked Patty Jones, who's an expert in the behavior of insects, to explain the minds of bumblebees.
The first question I had was, of all the flowers in a meadow, which ones do bees choose?
Often, an individual bee, if you'll watch them, they'll specialize in one particular flower type, and they'll keep going to that particular flower.
Plants benefit when bees only visit one type of flower because their pollen doesn't get delivered to the wrong plant species. To encourage bees to specialize, some plants lace their nectar with chemicals that manipulate their behavior.
A good example is caffeine, which we're all familiar with. And caffeine is actually present in the nectar of citrus flowers and in coffee flowers. And caffeine, when it's consumed by bees that are visiting those flowers, it makes those bees remember the smell of that flower better. And so the presence of that caffeine in the flower nectar probably increases the pollination rate of the plant, and therefore benefits the plant.
Once a bumblebee finds an appropriate flower, it stimulates the plant to give up its pollen.
You'll hear the bumblebees in the Rosa rugosa making this bzzz, bzzz sound as they're kind of rolling around and getting the pollen all over themselves and vibrating the plant at the right frequency to get that plant to release its pollen so they can collect more pollen. The thing in bees is that we know that bees who have no experience with a particular flower type, they encounter a new flower they haven't seen before, they're much more likely to visit that flower if it's got another bee already on it.
In other words, bees are kind of like people who choose the restaurant that has the longest line. How about an experiment? Let's put some fake bees near flowers.
So I'm going to wire it right on to this sheep laurel that's here. Now it looks to a bee, another bee who might be coming by, that this plant is currently being visited by a bumblebee. And I'm going to count the number of bumblebees that I see coming to visit these flowers. And then afterwards, after the flowers have passed, I'm then going to count the number of seeds that that plant produces.
So that's the buzz about bees. It turns out they're not that different from humans.
I love bees.